Cutscene Convos, episode 8.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to be up front. We're recording later than usual. I've had a hectic day. I'm going to try and keep energy up, but I'm in a slump. But we're going to hope we've got some good talking points. Hopefully, bring a bit of energy to it.
Yeah.
But let's do something we haven't done before. How's your week been, Hori?
I've had a fairly quiet week, actually.
Yeah.
There's not been much work going on. I've become addicted to Minecraft, and my sleep pattern's
Minecraft
choked.
season.
So, how's your week been?
I'm doing some new stuff at work that I'm learning to do for the first time. So it's been lots of trying to listen and understand what is going on, to try and just learn new skills. So it's been very exhausting, but also very rewarding.
Yeah, I get that.
But there we go. I thought that'd be a little bit nice. It's always give us information, not how are you doing. Tell us about your day. Okay, so for me, I'm about 7 days and 3 hours away from the Batman.
For me, I don't know. Knowing me and how I am, I will probably book a ticket very last minute because my brain will keep forgetting, and then you'll message and be like, "It's Batman Day," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I didn't get a ticket." What times are showing with a seat still available? Oh, okay, cool, go then.
I'll go at 11:30 in the morning. That'll be nice and quiet.
No, it'd be more like 1 a.m. at night or something.
Okay, so character profile this week is another Batman ally, the outstanding Alfred Pennyworth. Probably my favourite member of the Bat fam, purely because he's quite an interesting character that I think counterbalances a lot of the other characters in quite a nice way.
Yeah, I get that.
But we're going to look more at his backstory here, because there wasn't always a lot there, but over the years they've kind of filled out his backstory a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So before he was serving the Waynes at all, his dad was their butler. I'm not sure if that was just something that was added in New 52. I know a lot of comic book fans aren't fans of the New 52, but that was when I started reading comics. So it was his father that served before him, the Waynes, and he wasn't that close with his father. So he joined the army, during which time he did some kind of espionage stuff as well as being in the army, where he also learned a fair bit of his medical training that he would later use patching Bruce and Robin and whoever else up.
Yep.
And then after being a soldier, he was discharged. He went to live in London and actually became a moderately successful stage actor.
What the fuck?
Yeah, which I thought was quite interesting. I think they kind of added that to explain how he was so good at hiding his true feelings on things and play the role that people need him to play almost.
Yeah.
And then just before he was looking to almost make his big break, his father died unexpectedly, so he flew to Gotham to take on his father's role as the Wayne's butler.
Interesting.
Now, again, I don't know how much of that is just New 52, which I know is canon now, but some fans aren't happy with it and blah, 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 but that's not a debate here or now. So when the Waynes were shot and killed, he became Bruce's legal guardian, which obviously carried a tremendous amount of responsibility, and he cared for him like he was his own son. Everyone who's ever read even a single issue of a Batman comic knows how much Alfred genuinely cares about Bruce. Doesn't always agree with Bruce's decision making, but he cares about Bruce like his own son, and by extension of that, all of the different Robins and other members of the Bat family he absolutely adores. He is the true patriarch of the Wayne family. in the best possible way. And he makes them all better versions of themselves.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We've seen that before in the films and stuff.
We've seen that time and time again. The really thing that I'm not sure actually how many people know, because I didn't know this until quite recently, but some people might hear this and go, yeah, I've heard that before. He's actually the only person of the Bat fam that Bruce trusts to have a gun.
Oh.
He's willing to let Alfred carry a gun. He completely trusts his judgment, and doesn't feel the need to almost micromanage him in that sense.
Interesting.
And just a fun little side note that doesn't really matter too much. He was once a Batman villain, known as the Outsider. As we know, in comic books, everyone dies eventually. And other than parents and people important to backstory, they all also come back to life. Mm-hmm. But he was once dead and then resurrected and brainwashed and became the Outsider.
Interesting. Didn't know
that. I believe, again, I'm not caught up on Rebirth, which was what happened after New 52, but I believe in New 52 he died as well. Okay. And you actually found out he'd been a billionaire since the day the Waynes died, because they left everything to him.
That makes sense.
Or a lot of stuff to him, not everything. And he actually gave all that money to Dick Grayson, who was at the time acting as Nightwing. Because he knew Dick was the best of them and could use that money to really make a positive difference. Cool. But Alfred adds a lot, and the reason I wanted to save Alfred to this week is we're getting nice and close now, so I want to discuss how I think Alfred is going to be used in this new Batman film compared to previous Batman films.
Yeah.
Andy Serkin is notably a fair bit younger, at least looking, than previous actors we've seen play Alfred.
Yeah, they've definitely gone for a very specific look previously.
Yeah. Michael Caine was phenomenal as Alfred in the Christopher Nolan series, but he was very much the butler who patched him up and gave him pearls of wisdom.
Yeah.
But they're definitely delving in a bit more to this, like, used to be a soldier, kind of maybe a little bit of a spy, mysterious background a little bit more. Because Andy Serkin has said that he's like a code breaker in this for the Batman. He's actively helping him with the detective work.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if, because we're getting a younger Batman, although he's the world's greatest detective, you're not just born the world's greatest detective. So maybe he's picked up some of his own skills and then Alfred's going to be there to kind of push him along on that path.
Yeah, I think, because there's that one very short, small clip, isn't there, the two of them? And it's like, you get the sense that he's going to give him almost a lot of very tough love.
Yes.
And I think you're right. I get the sense that the style of this film, he is going to definitely get, like, so to speak, getting his hands dirty and kind of being the guy back at base in a way. Like, yeah, Batman's going to be out doing whatever he's doing for the Riddler, but he's probably going to be there back at the manor or whatever, the Batcave, trying to work out what Riddler's next move is, trying to help him figure out where he's going to be next. But I think at the same time, also trying to keep him, I guess, grounded and reminding him that, like, you are still Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, exactly. I think Alfred, with his love for the Wayne family and the power that it holds, is going to be a big driving force in Bruce, not just being the Batman, but also using his power and influence as Bruce Wayne to make positive changes to Gotham. Yeah. And what I've seen so far and the impression I get reminds me of actually what I think might be my favourite portrayal of Alfred, which was the Gotham TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I didn't necessarily like his very common Cockney accent in that, because I always like to think of Alfred as
a British accent.
No. In at the beginning of Gotham, he's quite Cockney with how he likes to talk. I like to think Alfred more as like closer to Queen's English.
Yeah.
But I do get why they went for the way they went. But him being more hands-on in that, obviously because Bruce was younger, but seeing him as a more, I don't know, talented person, and more than just the family butler, was a really nice change of pace, and that's how I like to see Alfred portrayed.
Wasn't it in Gotham where they kind of addressed that he had a military background?
Yes, yeah. They addressed that in that.
So,
and we also saw the lengths he would be willing to go to protect Bruce.
Yeah.
Which I think is very important because everyone likes to see Batman as this almost like a cold, calculated killer, but without the killing part.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't make mistakes, is perfectly decisive of everything he does. And actually, he's not. He makes mistakes. And that's why the Bat family is so important. And that's why I'm so desperate to see them in live action films, because they actually are what allow Batman to be so effective, because they're there to call him out on his bullshit. And no one does that better than Alfred. So I won't be surprised if in this film, at some point, we actually get a conflict between Bruce and Alfred, where Bruce is about to do something stupid and Alfred kind of calls him on his shit.
Yeah, I think you're right. And like we already know that like this is going to be a younger Batman. So I think there's definitely going to be the sense of like he's still figuring this shit out. And like there's definitely going to be times where Alfred's like, you're going the wrong path. Like you're taking this the wrong way. Like check yourself, like sort of attitude to him.
I completely agree.
I think it's going to be really interesting.
Oh, I'm like I said, people probably sick of it. I'm so excited. I've already had a couple of people say to me, through talking to me in real life and also separately, that I've got them more excited for this film just with how convinced I am that it's going to be good. So I'm going to feel like shit if it ends up being bad, because there's 2 or 3 people who are solely giving this film a chance because of how excited I am for it.
If it's not, I'm the one who's going to have to listen to it the most.
You're the one who's going to have to deal with me flipping between tears and rage on a weekly basis, as I notice another thing that's made me angry. But I trust this cast, this director. I think this could be a very, very interesting and good film.
It's the most promising like chance of a successful film from DC in what feels like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now we have a little admission to make, because we said we were going to talk all things Doctor Strange last week, and then probably about 5 seconds after we finished recording, we collectively went.
Yeah, I remember it was as we were finishing, and those that have listened to last week's episode will probably have wondered what I was about to say. But right at the end of the episode, I can't remember exactly what Connor said. There was something he said then instantly reminded me of something we haven't discussed, which is the secrets of the Doctor Strange poster.
Yeah. That poster full of a million tiny little Easter eggs that we just somehow completely skipped over
we were so distracted
with meal that was the trailer.
We were so distracted with the trailer and all the Marvel Illuminati that we never went back to the poster.
So I mean, I would be amazed if at this point you're listening to a podcast like this and you haven't seen anything, but we'll discuss it anyway because we want our extra content time. So what the big ones were, we saw Captain Carter's shield.
Yes.
In one of the rings, and we know it's Captain Carter's shield because it doesn't have the star in the middle as the British flag, the Union Jack. There's one that seems to have been dyed out a little bit, but I actually kind of agree with, which was the shard that kind of looked like it had the Deadpool pose from the original posters from the Ryan Reynolds one, where it's like...
I think I know the reason that died out is because when it first flared up, it was one of those situations like someone had zoomed in on a shard and then sort of like enhanced the contrast or whatever and was like, look, circle the point. It's like, you can see Deadpool shushing. And it was one of those sort of things like, had no one said anything, you might not have even, like, you wouldn't even have probably thought of that.
Oh, so you think it could be like a case of you hear something, you see something, and your brain kind of lets you see it.
Yeah, that's all you can see now. And like, it could very well actually be Deadpool. And like, I was thinking about this, because obviously now had another week on it, I was like, this idea there's going to be all these cameos, it's like, as much as I would love it to be like a full scene with each of these different cameo characters, that's probably not going to be the case. It's most likely going to be when they're doing that thing where they're falling through the different.
Yeah, you'll get little interactions.
Yeah, like,
for a lot of the characters.
I'm fully on board if it's just smashing through one of the like multiverses, and it's just Deadpool's like mid doing something, like shushing over someone who's just beat up or something. And he's just like, what the hell? Or
just one little quick and he keeps on running.
Do you know what would be perfect? Is if it's him shushing Wolverine. And they're just like in some mid conflict, and he's just shushing, and then it's just they just blast through between the two of them, and he's like, and he does some breaking the fourth wall comment about Doctor Strange. Yeah.
I would really like it to be a case of he's running through, they go into that one, and you just see Deadpool go, what in the fuck? In that really Deadpool Ryan Reynolds voice.
And then it'll do like his fourth wall narrator thing. It's like, I thought we didn't have the budget to be in Marvel.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's really, really interesting. And you saying what you said, and we'll try not to get distracted, we'll get back to the poster. The rumours of a Wolverine cameo are getting stronger and stronger, but apparently it's not going to be Hugh Jackman. Which is very interesting.
No, I just want Hugh Jackman to finally...
I don't think anyone said Hugh Jackman won't be in it, but there's a Wolverine cameo that's not Hugh Jackman. It's like the driving point. So I'm not saying we won't get Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, true.
But everyone's kind of going, there is a Wolverine cameo, but it's not a Hugh Jackman one. Is interesting.
Have you seen the recent interview, sticking with like Deadpool and that sort of things?
Oh, where he went, I'm not in it, I couldn't say even if I was. Yeah, and now everyone, as the internet does, has decided that means he's in it.
Well, and everyone's going, I'm pretty sure we've just been through this. And then it shows like flashes of Andrew Garfield doing it, saying that he's not. So,
well, no, if you've not seen, everyone's bringing back the picture from the time Andrew Garfield and Ryan Reynolds kissed at an award show.
Oh,
and they're like, they've been planning it since then, when it was like 2014 or something.
Jeez.
Did you see the way Patrick Stewart dealt with the questions of are you in it or not?
Oh no, I haven't.
My favourite way anyone's ever dealt with rumours. Someone asked him about it, and like, we can hear you in the trailer, and he went, I've been in this business for a very long time. Everyone has an impression of me. I can't help people have good impressions.
True.
Brilliant. And then he just moved on, and I'm just like, oh, that's such a beautifully professional Sir Patrick Stewart way to handle that, and I couldn't have been happier with it.
That's actually really good. Trying to keep this on the poster.
Yeah, back to the poster.
So I've gone through and like I've watched other things and like things of people pulling out different images from the shards. It seems like there's a shard that shows the Ultron bots.
Yeah,
and I think there's a shard of like an eye that people are thinking is the weird fucking tentacle thing. I forget what it's called.
Okay,
Gorgon?
yeah.
Is it Gorgon?
Yeah.
Not Gorgon.
I know the one you mean.
The thing he fights, which chucks a bus at him in the trailer.
Yeah.
I saw like a triangle, and everyone's like, "What's the Illuminati sign?" I think it would be a cool nod.
I saw in one of the shards was the dark, or what looked like the Darkhold, which of course Wanda was reading in the post-credit scene at the end of WandaVision. Yeah, that's the book.
Yeah.
What was the other one I saw that was really interesting? Oh, there was one shard that had like the Captain Marvel logo, but it looked a little different.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Like almost teasing like a variant.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of theories. One is she's in like a new outfit now,
Oh,
and she's going to show up. Another is, like it could be a variant. And then someone also suggested it could be Monica Rambeau's outfit, because obviously she's just pulled some inspiration and it's her Proton or whatever her name is.
I don't know what name they're going to go with for her.
But one thought is her outfit, so who knows with that.
But yeah, it was a very, very good poster. It was beautiful to look at, and then it gave fans a really cool poster that wasn't floating heads, and then it gave nerds like me and you the ability to go, what is that? What is that there?
There's one more, one very stretch of a kind of thing that I saw someone kind of point out, which was, if you look at the whole poster and if you actually look in the window that's broken, I can't remember whereabouts it is on it, but there's a shadow in the background that almost looks like a silhouette of a head and an ear. And then someone's I wonder if they're going to do in the What If series, they had the Watcher was always in the sky as like a silhouette.
Oh,
whether there's something like that gets included and he's watching Doctor Strange and all these different.
That'd be really cool if they had that in really subtly, and then 3 weeks after the film, people started realizing. That would be very, very cool. We've already seen the Watchers in live action. I'm not sure if people remember this. Guardians of the Galaxy 2. When they're when they're bouncing through space.
Yeah.
We see Stan Lee's cameo where he's sitting on a rock talking to a group of Watchers.
Oh, is that who he's talking to?
Yeah, they're the Watchers.
That's something because when I went back and watched them all the films recently, I saw that clip again. I'm like, I just presumed he was talking to some kind of random.
No, he's talking to the Watchers there.
Oh, okay.
So what that comes from is a lot of really even nerdier than me, people who would listen to this podcast and go, wow, these guys don't have a clue what they're talking about, kind of fans, has been speculating that it'd be really cool if the way they explain Stan Lee's cameos is that he was working for the Watchers.
Oh, and that's why
that's how he kept up creeping up in these situations. So then James Gunn, being the massive fan of the fans that he is, really liked it, so decided to do it. Which is where that came from. Yeah. So we've already seen them in live action.
Okay.
So we know they know how to handle doing it and making it look okay. So I'd be all in on us them busting through a dimension and we almost fall into a Watchers work meeting or something.
Yeah.
That could be really interesting. But yeah, that trailer was brilliant. We've probably missed things. The entire community probably missed things. But yeah, there's some big ones in there. That Deadpool one, I really want it to be true, and I think it could be really funny if it's true. But I do understand what you're saying of that shard is just a generic shape and people have decided what they want it to be.
Such a blurry image. It's it's that thing where as soon as someone says you can see something, that's all you see. And it's is it though? But I'm holding out hope. Because we said I think it was 2-3 episodes ago, who we wanted to see, and I want Deadpool to be pulled in to the MCU. So.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we have much more to say about the poster. There are 1,000,001 really talented people on TikTok and YouTube who've done breakdowns where they'll have the poster and they'll show you bits. If you're more interested in that, please go watch one of them. There's lots of really talented people working on stuff like this. And chances are that from a selection of them is where we've got these kind of things. Because I'm not talented enough to be hyper zooming in on a poster and then trying to up the resolution and shit. I ain't that guy, pal.
And why do it when someone else has already zoomed in and done it for me?
Exactly.
Just do my research.
Now, the next point that I've got written down here makes me a little bit sad, because when I sent this to you on Tuesday, it looked really likely that this was going to happen, but it hasn't happened. But we'll discuss it anyway, because what the fuck?
It's still rumored to happen. So
yeah. So it might be it's going to happen the same time this trailer drops, or episode drops or something, and everyone's going to laugh at us. But the Thor trailer has been expected now for the past 2 days. The first Thor trailer, Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know where the rumours started that it was coming. I know it's probably got something to do with the fact that a couple of Lego sets and action figures and stuff have been released, essentially, not to be sold, but like the promotional stuff for them.
Yeah, promotional pieces.
In which we saw Thor having a kind of royal blue looking suit, which I think looks pretty sweet. And also Jane in her Thor costume, which also looks pretty sweet.
And doesn't the Lego set have the God Butcher?
Yeah, it has the God Butcherer, who is going to be played by Christian Bale. A lot of people have I find this hilarious. Some people I've seen have not shown pictures of the Lego set with him in it because they don't want to ruin the first look at this brand new character. And then some people are going, I'm not going to show it just in case, but also it's a Lego. How similar can it look?
Exactly.
It did give me a good chuckle. I kind of get it. You don't want your first interaction with a brand new character to just be a Lego minifig, no matter how good they are. But hopefully the trailer comes this week. Hopefully it's really good. I'm very excited for it. The set photos that kind of got released, especially the one of Chris Hemsworth with the director, he looks ridiculously wham.
Juiced.
And we know very little about this film because of everything that was right before it. So it's managed to get quite late into close to the release date with no rumours or anything because everyone was too worried about Spiderman and Doctor Strange. So I won't be surprised if there's a couple of big surprises in this film that just no one even is prepared for.
Yeah, I think there's bound to be something in the trailer that, because of everything else that's gone on with Spider-Man, people just haven't paid attention and it's kind of got away with not being noticed. Yeah. And then some either person or something in the trailer, and it's going to be dope. Hopefully that does drop tomorrow, though, or at least over the weekend.
Exactly. But yeah, so I thought we touched on it briefly, just so that you guys know we're in touch and we know what's going on.
And also for the people that didn't know it's coming, now know.
Yeah, keep an eye out for it. Go follow us on Twitter. We will retweet it.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about Spider-Man again here, and I'm sorry if you still haven't seen it. That's on you. It's been out for ages now. So Spider-Man's coming to DVD. It looks like April is when it's actually going to be on DVD and Blu-ray. I think April 12th.
Okay.
But back end of March, I think it's getting a digital release.
So potentially Disney Plus.
I don't think so. I don't think Sony have a deal with that, which is big sucky.
That is big sucky.
Yeah.
I was hoping, I know the other ones aren't on there, but I was hoping maybe going forward they'd have.
Don't get me wrong. They might announce that deal as a big thing.
Yeah.
That all the Spider-Man films are going on there.
Yeah, they're all out now on Disney Plus. That's a good point, actually.
But do not hold your breath on that because I've not seen any rumours that that's going to happen. Yes. But apparently this DVD is going to come with 100+ minutes of bonus footage.
I'm excited.
So it might be the very first time in a long time I actually buy DVD, and might be the first time ever I watch the bonus footage. I'll see what the internet says.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it easily, what's worth watching. If not, I'll buy it. My dad probably will buy it anyway. He loves collecting all the films.
I have all of Phase 1 and half of Phase 2 on Blu-ray when I used to buy Blu-rays.
My dad used to collect videotapes, then they went out of use. They became ancient. And then they moved them.
Okay, I remember videotapes. Let's not call them ancient.
No, but they became outdated. Get over it. I still have some videotapes. But then they were moving house in the preparation for me being born. And a lot of the videotapes got thrown to the wayside. And then I've always loved watching films, and before I could stream them, DVDs was obviously the option. So we have so many. I mean, you've been in my house, or I'm not sure if you even noticed, but there is racks upon racks upon racks of DVDs, and that's not even all of them. So I'm sure we will have it in the house at some point, and I'll watch the bonus footage.
Yeah.
But I am
review.
it's just, it makes me think that we're not gonna get an extended cut in the cinema.
Yeah. And I think even more to the point, like, we've got so many other Marvel shows and Marvel films coming. It's like the longer they leave this, the less likely it's ever going to be a theatrical extended release, because it's going to pull away from focus on like Doctor Strange, and they won't want that. So
exactly, I completely agree. I guess the only other real option is they put it out on DVD on, say, April 12th. I think that's the release date. It's April sometime. And then they give it 2 months and then they release it, because they try and get people to buy the £10-15 DVD Blu-ray and then go, because the kind of people who buy that for the bonus content would go to the cinema to watch an extended cut again. So it might just be them trying to get as much money as possible. But I'm losing faith by the day that we're going to get a theatrically released extended cut.
Fingers crossed they just go, the Blu-rays are, and the extended cut is now on Disney Plus, and I'll just be like,
that would be phenomenal. But I'm telling them right now, if they release an extended cut of this film, they might get arrested for printing money. Because this film broke a lot of records in the middle of a pandemic when people were still recovering from it, and they still broke all them records. So the power of Spider-Man knows nothing, and I do not want to hear anyone say to me ever again that Batman or Superman are the biggest superheroes in the world, because that is pure waffle. Spider-Man has always been and will always be the biggest superhero. Batman and Superman are huge. DC, for the most part, in my opinion, does have the better comic book characters, but Spider-Man is undefeated. And actually, I'm going to say it now because I'm very excited. I got aired in the group chat the other day about it. I pre-ordered my reprint of the very first Spider-Man Omnibus. So I'm going to have like the very beginning of the original run with Stan Lee's stuff. I'm going to be honest, I didn't do what I want to do, which was get it through a comic book shop and support a comic book shop, because the reprint is going to be like £110 for retail. I saw it on Amazon down to 73 as a pre-order. So
bargain.
I had to save myself 35 quid. If I could have got it from a comic book retailer at that kind of a discount, I would have, but they can't afford to make them kind of discounts. I will continue to get my smaller books from smaller businesses, because it's more fun. You get to chat to the guy.
Yeah. Keeping on Spider-Man, I don't know if you've seen this, but there was I think it's a recent interview with Charlie Cox.
Oh, okay.
He talked about how he went to the cinema to watch Spider-Man on release.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
With knowing the hype around the fact that people were putting his character was going to be in it.
Yeah.
When it got to his scene, apparently his wife was filming him just to see for the crowd's reaction, and it was apparently just dead silent in his screening.
Oh no!
And he said it was just like, yeah. He said, I think I got the only showing where there was just zero reaction throughout the whole film. But he said, don't worry, I have had many messages and talks from friends who said that it was very well received in other screenings.
Let me be very clear about this. UK cinemas are 99.99999% of the time deathly silent, because people respect other people's watching of a film.
Yeah.
The only times I have heard noise in a UK cinema were when Cap lifted Thor's hammer in Endgame. That was the only time throughout that showing, and that was big noise. Yeah. There was a little bit of like quiet sobbing when Tony died, but for the most part, that was the only real noise. And then when Charlie Cox appeared in Spider-Man No Way Home, there was a big cheer. Mm-hmm. When we saw Andrew and Toby come through their portals in No Way Home, there was a big cheer. And the best scene in cinema, fucking fight me, when the three of them swing out together and swing off each other was an uproar of noise, like something you'd experience at a sports event.
That was exactly the same for mine.
Yes. UK cinemas are so respectful. The fact these films managed to get us that excited that we collectively went, fuck the rules, let's make some noise for this, show how big a part of our lives these films are. And I am so heartbroken for Charlie that on release night he found the only showing that wasn't hyped to see him.
It's so unfortunate. And like, he's obviously knows like other cinemas did, but yeah, you could tell when he was saying it, he's just like, I just got so unlucky. But yeah,
so you know
my
what?
screening, sorry, but my screening got like, I'd say half the people, like there was like a smaller group got hyped for Charlie Cox, and there was definitely some people I think I heard who didn't know who he was because they haven't probably watched the Netflix series.
Yeah.
And then, the other stuff later on was like hyped as fuck.
This is a beautiful segue you've handed me, Hori.
Yeah. No.
So, the reason a lot of fans might not have, and it's not their own fault because the canon's got a little bit rocky since Disney bought Fox. But basically, Netflix, I'm not sure if many people know this. Less people knew this than I thought knew this, for sure. Netflix and Disney struck a deal for some TV shows that was supposed to be set in the MCU. Mm-hmm. These shows were Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and The Defenders. The Defenders was a culmination of the other four characters, but in a team-up film. Now, throughout these shows, there was a lot of references to MCU events without specifically saying what happened. And these shows were all intertwined. But then when Disney bought Fox and they were getting ready to launch Disney Plus, the Netflix deal got a little bit sour and we're not really sure where it stands canon-wise. And people were worried that Disney would recast Daredevil and just throw them shows to the side. And everyone loved Charlie Cox in Daredevil. Mm-hmm. It might be the best superhero TV show we've ever had, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And now, I think 2 weeks ago, Netflix announced the shows would be leaving their platform. And then this week, Disney confirmed that the shows would be coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah, from what I saw, they're getting added to... They've shown up that they're being added to Disney Plus in Canada. So everyone's also presuming that means they will be...
No, I'm pretty sure there's been an official announcement.
Has it been an official one now?
Yeah, I believe there has now been an official announcement on March 16th or something. They're coming to the platform.
Oh, okay.
Now, this doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be canon. Let's just be clear about that. But what it does mean is you can now go watch them shows. True. For the most part, they are brilliant.
Do we... So I know they're adding... Daredevil, Luke Cage. Are they adding Punisher?
Oh, I forgot about Punisher. Fuck, yes, they are.
Even though
Punisher's on there as well.
Yeah.
So, Daredevil seasons 1, 2, and 3 are worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Jones season 1 I know is worth watching. I haven't watched anything after that. Luke Cage season 1 is worth watching. Iron Fist you might want to watch for understanding what's going on, but you're going to have to suffer through it. And The Punisher is phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
The Defenders, it has its moments. It's not great. It has some really good moments in it. I will, you know what? I will say this now. I might forget. I will try and put together a watch order for them shows so that you know what order to watch them in to not be confused if you care about that.
I can't remember the order.
I think it's season 1 of everything and season 2 of Daredevil. Then it's Defenders and then it's everything else, I think. But I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, if you haven't watched the Netflix shows, Kingpin, who appeared in Hawkeye, was played by the same actor he was in the Daredevil shows, which makes us think, if nothing else, the reality in which these shows took place is very similar to the main MCU continuity. At the very least, it's a very similar alternative reality.
Yeah.
They might just have to do some soft retconning or stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, there's going to be some like muddy areas, but like I get the sense that the fact that they've used both the Kingpin actor and Charlie Cox, it's kind of like it is going to be canon. I think they haven't officially said anything till it is all on Disney Plus and stuff, and like they can start figuring it out. But I'd be surprised if they don't make it canon.
We'll find out very quickly. Depending on where the shows get put on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
because a couple of like that
order, then
yeah, exactly. We'll find out very quickly. What I think we're going to get is watch these shows, enjoy these shows. 80% of these shows also happen in the MCU. Bits of them didn't, and we're just going to have to accept that. Not everything that happened in them shows happened in the main MCU world, but you can watch them and just treat them as if they happened in the MCU, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't think there's anything that happens in them, like, from what I remember, there's nothing that's like, oh, that would have affected things.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's very easy ways they can kind of, like, a snap happened. If they want to get around some issues, they can just go, oh, exactly. They were snapped.
And also, movie, TV, Marvel fans, while we love you, and I'm not trying to gatekeep comics, welcome to the life of being a comic book fan. Shit changes on you on the fly. You don't always like the changes. Sometimes you're angry they've made the changes, but you know what? They got you by the balls because you love the character, so you're going to keep on watching and listening and reading and whatever. And I think the next couple of years are going to be very interesting to see how film fans can handle that continuity fucking around with that comic book loves so much.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any other things that need to be discussed?
I'm gonna kick myself now. There was literally something earlier that I thought of, and now it's out of my head.
Brilliant.
So, have you got anything I'll try to pull from my brain?
Yeah, I'll talk about it now instead of the outro, just because I'm hoping there's more people still listening at this point. We're now video based. If you guys just listen on Spotify and you listen to the whole episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever, obviously continue to do that if that's how you prefer the medium. But if the only reason you were doing that is because it's audio only, so you thought you'd just listen on an audio platform, and you'd prefer video, it's now in video. Now that we've gone over to video as well, every day of the week, most weeks, there might be weeks where the segments are just longer and there's less of them, but the plan is every day of the week, Saturday through to Thursday, there will be a segment uploaded so that if you want to avoid spoilers, so like in 2 weeks' time when we're reviewing the Batman, if you haven't seen the Batman yet, you can just watch the other segments not about the Batman so that you can still enjoy as much as possible but avoid the bits you want easier. And obviously, if you watch our TikToks or shorts or whatever as well, A, thank you, but B, we also have video now, which means we're more consistently going to be able to push out more shorts because they're a lot easier for us to put together. So that's just a little update for all of you guys. If you're liking the video content, move on over to YouTube. You can interact with us a lot better on YouTube than Spotify. You can leave comments easier. You can like easier. We can interact back with you even easier. It's a change that we are very happy we've been able to make so quickly, and hopefully we can improve the video quality quickly as well. But so yeah, if you like watching it in shorter chunks, that's going to be easier for you now. If you just want to look at my face and Hori's gorgeous face, I think you put me on that side. I don't know what side you go on.
Your
you
left.
Can now do that as well. My left. Ooh, hey.
So I have remembered it was. It was Black Panther related because I looked up Black Panther. I know why I forgot. It's because there's nothing about production, so I just kind of like, oh, that's it. There's nothing. But then I did see one of the actresses. I don't know which one it was. tweeted like a picture because it's like 4 years or something since the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Or there was some thing, and they tweeted a photo from set. So whether they have started production again, I don't know. But it also just showed that, Black Panther's kind of close mate, who was the one with the like blue cloak and stuff.
Yeah.
His dad, who was one of the elders, that actor's in it again because he was on set.
Interesting.
And like that hadn't been confirmed. He was a new face to be tied to this next Black Panther film. So it seems some of the elders of tribes and stuff are still going to be in it and different things.
Interesting. It might just be a case of they're not confirming they're in production anymore because every time they have, they've been cursed.
Yeah,
so they're just trying to keep it quiet and see how far they can get going.
Yeah, it might be.
But I think it is time for us to move on to our Superhero Showdown.
Yes.
Now, before we get into this, because even though I said we're doing it, we're not doing it just yet.
Classic beat switch.
We're not getting many from you guys of who you want to hear us discuss. So what I think, and you know what, we're going to openly discuss it. I've not even mentioned this, Tori. He has no idea what I'm about to say. What if we put together a kind of bracket?
Interesting.
So like 16 characters. We put them together, we seed them without talking to each other. We'll do our own little seeding, and then average it out to work out what we would give them as the seeding.
Mm-hmm.
And then each week we'll work through them. If fans then want to just give us characters and not worry about someone else for them to fight, they can do that. And then we can use them characters to fill out our bracket. And then after 16, you'd have 8. We'd have like loads of episodes there for the bracket.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we will have, out of them 16 characters, our hero. So,
that's interesting.
I mean, if Hori hates that idea, it's not going to go anywhere anyway. But if you guys like that idea, let us know. Send us a character. You watch, somehow we're now going to get fucking 64 characters and we're going to do a ridiculous bracket that's never going to end.
Yeah, people are just going to start listing off every single hero.
Yeah. We're just going to get like 19 different versions of Spiderman or something. But anyway,
every Spider-Man, every Flash, every
yeah, exactly. But I just thought that could be quite fun. So
yeah, that could be cool.
And then the guys don't have to try and worry about coming up with like a fair fight themselves. They can just give us a character. So yeah, that's something for you guys to stew on. Yeah. But the way we've done it this week is the way we've done it before. Hori comes up with a character. I then try and think of someone to go up against them for a fairish fight. Hori chose Bane.
Yes, DC's Bane. And we're going to go with comic book Bane, who's juiced.
Comic book Bane, who is juiced and tanned and fucking brilliantly smart. You know, he might be the most difficult person to come up with an even fight against. He either smokes everyone or gets smoked.
I'm fine.
You know what?
Oh.
We're going to go with Gambit from from Marvel's X-Men. Obviously, it's comic book version because that thing we saw in X-Men Origins Wolverine is not Gambit. So yeah, we're going to go with Gambit.
Origins.
So Bane is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it really breaks my heart how a lot of, I don't want to call them fringe fans because it sounds like I'm belittling them. Visual media fans view Bane as kind of a brainless monster.
Yeah.
Who's just like almost like a cheap Hulk. Some people kind of view him as, which wasn't helped by the Batman and Robin film with Poison Ivy and Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, and that version of Bane didn't help at all. Christopher Nolan's was better, but we also didn't see how ridiculously wham he was.
Yeah, it gave us a military tactical Bane, but not juiced.
So, although Bane is a Batman villain, he's also not really that much of a villain. I'd call him more of like an almost anti-hero, because at times he's like worried about the community and stuff, but he's still a criminal.
Yeah.
And he's come from a pretty rough upbringing. Obviously, that doesn't excuse murder and stuff, but just like you get my point. So, but he's ridiculously intelligent, can be very compassionate, the absolute strategic mastermind, very controlled and steady in everything. He just also happens to be addicted to steroids on super soldier serum that is venom.
Yeah.
Which is what makes him such a formidable foe, because he's got the brains to like concoct plans that Batman's going to struggle with, and then the brawn to execute them himself.
Yeah, he makes the plan, then he leads the plan.
Exactly. If you want something done right, do it yourself.
Exactly.
Whereas I've already forgotten. Gambit. There we go. You got Gambit, who, I'm going to be honest, a lot of my knowledge of him comes from the 90s X-Men cartoon. And you know what? If you're not okay with that, you probably haven't even made it this far into the podcast. He's got his pole, he's got his Deckard playing cards that he can supercharge. But I've never really got the impression Gambit's particularly smart. He's not like thick as shit, but he's not the intelligence.
I get the sense that Gambit is more sort of that street smart and more just like trickery.
Exactly. He's not gonna concoct a master plan, but he's also not gonna fall into a fucking cut out bit of grass with leaves on top.
Down here.
So I think on a actual fighting level, it would be pretty even. I think the problem Gambit has is just how smart Bane is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
I go with the sense of like Gambit would probably just be so. He'd go in very chaotic in a sense, like less of like Bane has a very strict, will have probably a strict plan and idea of what he has to do. Gambit would just be like, hell to the wall, like let's just see what happens, sort of thing, and that might, I guess, catch Bane off a bit. But yeah, I think Bane's very intelligent.
I think the only chance Gambit really has is if he gets a little bit lucky early on and catches one of the venom pipes and notices the negative effect that has on Bane and realises that he needs to target it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't work that out quick enough, he's in a real dangerous situation.
Yeah, I feel like he would go in so kind of like almost chaotic and just no plan, see what the fuck happens. And if, like you say, if he gets lucky and kind of in a way accidentally figures out, oh shit, I just need to get rid of these things, then he'll kind of be like, okay, I'll focus on that. Sure.
Exactly. But there's no way you can deny that he needs a little bit of luck to get through this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if he would think to do some damage to his hardware without a little accidental nick.
Yeah, I feel like he'd start off the fight just trying to be purely annoying.
Yeah.
And irritating to Bane. And then that, if anything, that's just going to make Bane get annoyed quicker and then be like, in a way, then be smarter because he's going to be like, this needs dealing with it. And put him in a bad spot. So,
coincidentally, how annoying Gambit is why I think I'd play such a good version of him. But yeah, no, I can definitely see a world where Gambit manages to win, because mutants are nothing if not like troublesome.
Yeah.
But Bane is very powerful and very intelligent, and if he gets deep enough into the fight before Gambit realizes to go for the apparatus and stuff, I think it's one of these ones that very quickly it goes one way or the other.
Yeah.
Either Gambit works out quite quickly that he needs to stop that green shit that this big fucker's pumping into his body, or Bane goes...
Yeah. It's like a sense of like Bane starts to figure out how he's moving around. And he's like, oh, okay. And then ends up just getting hold of him and just destroying him.
Exactly. I don't think Gambit's nonchalantness towards everything in life helps him in this situation.
I don't think so.
I think that's part of the reason he doesn't end up getting the lucky shot. I want to go like a 65-70 Bane. I can definitely see a world where Gambit wins this fight, but it's not happening super regularly.
I'd go slightly more in favour of Bane.
You guys 70-75?
Yeah, like 80-20 is like what I'm thinking. I think it's just
I see that.
Most of the time, Bane's just going to like figure him out and just like Gambit's going to be too nonchalant, like too cocky and whatever about stuff. Then there's like 20% of the time, like, yeah, he gets lucky and figures out, oh, this is easier than I thought, or this is how I do it, and I think that's how it goes.
Couldn't agree more. I did enjoy that one though. When you said Bane, he told me just before we started recording so that I had some time to think of something. And you said that, and I almost swore at you instantly and went, fuck, that's going to be really difficult. Because like I said, for most characters, Bane is either stomps or gets stomped.
Yeah.
But I think Gambit was a decent enough fight. I think any more powerful mutant stomps him. Any less powerful mutant gets stomped, and mutants are, for the most part, the best place to look in Marvel for a hero, just because there's so many really good ones.
Yeah. I think you chose a good one with purely for the fact of like the character, like what Gambit is like as a personality and in the way he is.
Yeah.
Kind of gives him that unknown edge on if he's going to succeed or not.
Do you know what it is? If you put a slightly more responsible brain in Gambit's body, he's probably then going to stomp Bane because he knows to fucking deal with the apparatus. But the guy's going to go in there cracking jokes. He's probably going to go with his pole first and try and donk him on the head or something. Do you know, like, it's probably only like the third time he gets thrown into the wall he even thinks he's using his superpowers.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, no, I actually quite enjoyed that. I've got an X-Men comic that I'm waiting to start, and I'm very excited. Shit, sorry, I've just realised I forgot to mention during the Alfred character profile what comic I put to the side for this week. If you've somehow got here and even care, well done. I'm still going to tell you what it is. It's a Batman. I think it's like an anthology series they've done on a number of characters. One of which was Alfred. It'll be linked down below, but basically what that does is it's a little volume and it has hand-picked comics by DC that like show off the best of Alfred throughout the 75 years he's been a character or whatever it is now. So if you want to read something because like me, you really enjoy Alfred as a character, I think this is a really good pick. While I was looking at what to suggest on there, also on Forbidden Planet, there was also, it looks like they did have done or are doing, I don't know if they finished it or not, a little like young Alfred comic book run that explores his time in like Her Majesty's intelligence and in the army and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want more that kind of Alfred stuff, maybe have a look on the website for that as well. But yeah, that's what I put. I can't believe I forgot to put that in the character profile. But that'll be in the description wherever you're listening. So feel free to go and grab that. Is
there anything else we forgot? I don't think so.
I don't think so. If we do, we'll just discuss it next week. Talking of next week. Next week is going to be slightly different.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have our first guest on. So for starters, if there's any questions you want us to ask, whether it's just you want it asked this one time, or if you think it'd just be a good question for you guys to get to know any guests we might have on now or in the future, let us know. What that means is we're probably not going to have a character. We won't have a character profile next week. And it's going to probably feel a little bit more interviewy at times. It is someone me and Hori both know in real life.
It's one of our friends.
So you might get a bit more of a peek to us outside of this world. I'm sure we'll talk about how we all know each other. They are also a huge nerd, so there's no need to worry there. They're not coming in just thinking, I'll go on the Friends podcast. They do kind of know what they're talking about. They have a lot of excitement, and I think it's going to be really good. So let us know, obviously, what you think of every episode. But next week is going to be the first time we've got a guest on. So it might not be as well put together as some of these other episodes are, because it's not as easy for us to put it together when we've got a third person there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it could be quite fun. We've got a couple of other people in mind. Question for me. Ooh.
Have you caught up on Boba Fett?
No, I haven't.
Because of the guests that we're having on next week.
Yeah, it's probably worth it. Yeah.
This week, I'm tasking you with, you don't have to put together a character profile, so your task is to watch Boba Fett.
I do need to start getting one.
We can freely discuss it without any worry if it comes up.
Yeah. But I think that is everything from us this week.
Yeah.
As usual, go follow us on the TikTok, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, like and rate on all of your podcasty platformy things. We cutscene combos literally everywhere. Thank you once again. Have an absolutely phenomenal weekend.
Catch you next week.